So welcome to session number 19. That's 10, 5 with 9. We're almost at 20, guys. I can't believe we've been doing this 19 weeks now. It's been an amazing journey. We're giving you a raw, unfiltered look of what it takes to grow a physical products business to $1 million in revenue. Okay, so we recently launched our product, the Jungle Snugs. It's a hooded baby towel. So far, it's doing pretty well. I'm going to give you some more updates on it shortly. But we're on this journey to $1 million in revenue. We're donating all of the profits to Pencils of Promise. Hopefully, if everything goes to plan, we're going to build 5 schools in developing countries, which would be an amazing feat just from this like a side hustle, a case study. And what's even cooler for you guys, you get to follow along with the journey. We're leaving no detail unturned, untouched. You're going to watch over my shoulder as I'm building this business. I'm sharing everything with you, so you should be able to replicate the success yourself, or hopefully do even better than what we're doing. So that being said, it is session number 19. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. I have a few slides prepared for you, and then I'm going to let you look over my shoulder as I dig into Seller Central. We're going to look at our sales together and a few little things like that. All right. So today we're going to be talking about optimizing our pay-per-click campaigns. Okay. So we already had one session about setting up our pay-per-click campaigns. Okay. So if you missed that, I think it's number 13. I'm going to mention that again in a minute, but that would be the one to watch if you have no idea about Amazon's pay-per-click platform, okay? So today, I'm going to assume you guys already know a little bit about it, and we're going to talk about a little bit more advanced stuff about like optimizing our pay-per-click campaigns, how we transition from kind of like launch phase of PPC into long-term, sustainable, profitable type campaigns, and some things along those lines. But before I dig into the meat and all the good content, there's a few housekeeping things. So if you guys haven't done already, please subscribe to us on YouTube and give us a big thumbs up. It's tremendously helpful for us. And if you're enjoying the $1 million case study, it'd be much appreciated in exchange for all this free, super high value content. So the subscribe button should be below if you're watching on YouTube. Same with the thumbs up. If you're watching on our homepage, you can click through and click those 2 buttons for us real quick, and I will be very happy. As you guys probably know, we're doing a social media giveaway each week. So our winners from last week's are Gucci and Adam. Gucci, so I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. The question was the most difficult part of Amazon FBA? And he or she said the most difficult part is having the courage to take the risk of losing money. And I understand where you're at there. You're courageous and an entrepreneur by definition when you take risks, not when you already know the outcome. I've been changing my mindset and learning the method through your videos. I feel it's time to take action, and winning the Jungle Scout extension will propel me into this journey. So congratulations, you did win a Jungle Scout subscription. So Amelia from our team will contact you and get you set up with that. And Adam also won. Adam said, as you know, I absolutely love Jungle Scout products. I use their Chrome extension almost daily for product research. I follow their $1 million case study and all their other YouTube webinars to learn how to be a successful Amazon seller. I've used these tools to successfully launch my first private label product and look forward to great success. All the thanks, Jungle Scout. And congratulations to you, Adam. That's amazing that you've been able to follow along with our content and you took that step necessary to launch your product. I'm sure you are going to be very successful in the future. If you guys are interested in winning some of our products or winning our t-shirts, you can enter at junglescout.com/giveaway. And we're going to be selecting one winner every week for all of 2017. So if you're watching a replay of this or you're watching it live, it doesn't matter because we're going to be selecting a winner every single week for all of 2017. So I encourage you to enter our giveaway and win some free stuff. So how are Jungle Snugs doing? I'm sure some of you guys are curious. And overall, it's going very well. So we got some new images, new lifestyle images. They were done by the productphotographystudio.com. We were pretty impressed by how they came out. We'll share those with you guys in a minute. You can make your own judgment, but I think they look really stellar. We also did some additional design work to the images. And again, when I show you in a second, I'll go over more what I mean. We created and we added this competitive matrix to our listing. It's pretty cool. I'm going to show it to you in a second. We're not giving away any coupons right now. If you've been following along, you'll know that through this, our launch process, we did give away a lot of coupons through JumpSend to help improve our sales velocity. We are kind of out of the initial phases of our launch, so we're no longer doing that right now. That's always going to be a tool in our toolbox if we need to increase the amount of sales or sales velocity we have in the future. But right now, we're not giving away any more coupons. I started an A/B test with using Splitly today to test my main image, because that's very important on the amount of click-throughs you get. So I'll share those results with you in a week or two once we get back some good information. With that being said, I'm sure you guys are curious to see this stuff instead of looking at slides. So let's look at some of this together. So we'll start with our listing. So this is our listing right now. We have 24 reviews, which is pretty good. 4.9 out of 5 stars, not too shabby. We got some new imagery here. And when I said earlier we've done some design work to our images, this is what I mean. So instead of just using, like when we got this photography done, we were sent back like a picture of a box and this picture right here. And we could have just put both those up individually. It would have been fine. But I'm a pretty big fan of doing some extra like design work on top of your images to really make them stand out. So instead we put these two together, and this is really easy to do. We did this in Photoshop, but you don't even need Photoshop. You can download like a free tool. You may even be able to do it in Paint. I mean, all I'm doing is putting a little text box on there with a few arrows. So this is pretty easy to do. We built this little competitive matrix to show why our product is better than the competitors. So we show that it's like thicker, it's a little bit bigger, more absorbent, and we call out some of the main differentiating factors, and of course giving us check marks for all of those, because we are doing that. Again, just to call out that we do have this thicker towel. We made this one. We showed our thickness compared to what the competitor's thickness is like, so that one's good. This is one of the photos that our friends over at the productphotographystudio.com made. I think these turned out really nice. The image quality is good. There's some bubbles on there, which is super cool. They got a super cute kid to pose with the towel, so I like that. And again, just some more design work on our images. We like really called out that we have a bonus washcloth. We called out the size again. We noticed in the questions, or maybe like a point of confusion for people would be what size person or what size baby or toddler or whatever is this right for. So we said perfect for babies and toddlers, and you can kind of see that the kids are like a little bit different size right there, which is good. And there's a couple extra ones in here. Like, these are cute photos again that we got from the productphotographystudio.com. So yeah, you can go to our listing and look at these. We did more or less the same thing with each listing, just with some different photos. So our photos on here are a combination of lifestyle images that someone on the Jungle Scout team took, Marina. So she like took this one right here. They turned out really nice. This was just like her boyfriend's sister-in-law's child or whatever. We borrowed a baby from a friend. So those turned out really nice. So did really all of our images. So our listing's coming along really nicely. It would be really nice if we could get some more reviews, but that will come with time, with natural sales and our follow-up sequence through JumpSend. So yeah, I'm happy with how things are progressing on the listing front. So you're probably asking, well, are you guys making any sales? So the answer is yes. So let's start on this page, sales and profit. So let's see, this is the past 7 days. Jungle sticks have been selling extremely well, 255 in 7 days, which is pretty amazing. A blue one sold 35, pink 30, white 65. White's definitely our most popular. Let's look at it on a per product basis. So we do, it looks like have one coupon sale here. I just noticed this right now. I haven't given any coupons away since I think like the 23rd or 24th, but I guess this is just someone who's just had it in their email inbox. But yeah, it's been a pretty good week so far today. Let's see, it's 5 o'clock. So there's like 7 hours left in the day. We've already sold 8 white ones. We did 14 yesterday, 11 the day before without any coupons. So that's pretty good. So let's see, we have 8 sales there. The blue one, we've had 5 sales today, which is pretty good. So I say 8 plus 5, that's 13. The pink one, oh, the pink one's done good today, 6. So we're at 19 sales today and there's 7 hours left. So, we'll probably do like 25 sales today, maybe a few more. And they are starting to become profitable now that we're not doing the deep discounts, and especially after we fine tune our PPC today. That being said, let's go ahead and jump back in that and make sure all that's looking good. And since I'm by myself today, I'm just going to double check one thing that is, yep, it looks like you guys can still hear me and see me and all that stuff because I don't see anyone yelling, so that's good. So, like we said, today we need to be optimizing our pay-per-click. So I was really tempted to hop in like last week or even earlier this week and do some optimization. And then it really occurred to me, that's like one of the main reasons we're doing, or the main reason we're doing this case study is so you guys can learn from it. So I figured it wasn't very beneficial for you guys, for me to hop in there and make adjustments without you, even though it was kind of painful seeing us lose some money on it, but that's okay. So today, what do we want to be doing? We want to look into optimizing our PPC. We want to cut wasteful spend. We want to ramp up profitable conversions. So if there are very profitable keywords, we can think about bidding higher for those to see if we can get more impressions, and or increase the daily budget if we're running out of budget on that one. I also want to show you guys how we can go about finding new keywords to bid on and hopefully get more impressions. And like I said at the beginning, this is a little bit more advanced. I'm not going to cover today about like setting up our initial PPC campaigns. If you want to figure out more about that, you can go back to session number 13 of the $1 Million Case Study. So we're going to do a quick recap just of a few things. I think this is a part that commonly confuses people. So real quick, we're going to talk about match types. There's 3 different match types inside Seller Central: broad, phrase, and exact. As we go down here, the match types get, there's less phrases that match with these particular match types. So I'm going to give you guys some quick examples and you can read over this as well. So broad, just like it sounds, is going to be the most broad. So if we're bidding on the term baby towel, our sponsored ad is going to show for things like baby hooded towel, even though there's a hooded in the middle, toddler towel, because toddler is a synonym to baby, et cetera, et cetera. With phrase, the phrase needs to be intact. So something like pink baby towel or baby towel large, it would fire for those. It wouldn't fire if we put something in the middle like baby hooded towel. The phrase has to match with that. And then it can include misspellings, singulars or plurals, or stemmings. With exact match, it needs to be that exact term without any other words. The only exceptions there are misspellings or singulars or plurals. So yeah, you can read some of the examples there, and then we're going to put a recap of all this up on the blog. So another vocab word that you guys may have picked up from session 13 was ACOS, sometimes referred to as ACOS. That's the advertising cost of sale. And we can calculate that by looking at our PPC costs divided by our sales from PPC. So an example is if I spent $10 on PPC, from that I gained $100 worth of sales, then my ACOS in this example would be 10%, okay? So the reason this is important is we need to find at what point we break even. So we don't really make any money or we don't really lose any money. So if we're thinking big picture here, for PPC, I'm willing to spend up to my break-even point just to get sales, but ideally it's less than that. But this is like an important number for me to know, to understand how my ads are performing and how to adjust them accordingly. So Some quick math here. Don't let this scare you. It's very easy math. Landed cost of goods for us it's $5.45. FBA fees at our current price, $7.92. Our retail price currently is $17.95. So if I do the math right here, 1 minus all of this, I get 26%. So that means at our current price point, my ACOS can be up to 26%. So, 0% up to 26%. And I'm either making money or I break even at this point. In the future, I plan on selling our product for like $24-ish. And if that's the case, then my ACOS or my break-even ACOS is going to be about 40%. Okay. So this is good for you to figure out. So what are we going to be doing today to cut our wasted spend? And like I said earlier, I have a few slides for you here. We're just going to go over them kind of quickly. And then I think like the most valuable part is for you guys watching over my shoulder as I do this. That's what we're going to do. So we want to overall like improve the quality and relevancy of our traffic. So, that means that words that aren't very applicable for us, we want to either pause those or really decrease our spend. We want to adjust our bids accordingly, both in manual and automatic campaigns. We also want to add negative keywords, and I will show you how to do that shortly. For the stuff that's going well, for the words that are doing well, we want to hopefully ramp it up. So we might be increasing bids on those to see if we can get more impressions. We also want to move some of those words into a different match type, so we hopefully get more impressions. I don't know if anyone can prove this for sure, but I believe in it. It's a common belief in the industry that Amazon in their ad auction prefers exact match and then phrase match and then broad match. So if you have the same bid for an exact match word versus a broad match word, it seems like Amazon will choose the person with the exact match bid. So that's what we want to try to move towards. I also want to show you guys how you can analyze the search term report to find new keywords and to pull out other relevant pieces of information. And I'm going to show you how to download that and kind of manipulate it accordingly. And these are some of the things that I'm going to be looking for after we download it and we're kind of manipulating it. All right. So this is where you find it at. I'm also going to show it to you. So I'm just going to let you look over my shoulder. So right now I'm inside of Seller Central. Okay. You go to advertising, then campaign manager, and that's where you find this at. So as you can, hopefully you guys can see this okay. All these down at the bottom start with sticks. These are all the Jungle Sticks PPC campaigns, and most of them are doing pretty darn good, right? So let's see here. 38, that's a little high, but 23%, 31%. This is my ACOS. 12%, that's excellent. 30%, 32%. And I think my break-even ACOS for my Jungle Sticks is like 30%. So most of these are kind of near like the upper bounds. This one's a little bit over, but overall it's pretty good, especially when you compare it to my Jungle Snugs one, right? Jungle Snugs, my automatic's 250%, which is super high. That means, for every $10, let's see, that means every $25 I spend in PPC spend, I'm only making $10 worth of sales. And that's not even profit. That's just sales. So this is not sustainable. This is draining money from our profits very quickly. So we need to change this. So my manual ones are doing a little better at 143% and 90%. But if we go back, we need to get these down to 26% right now. So we have a long way to go. But the good news is I haven't done any optimization or changes at all right now. So I'm confident I can get it there. We're just going to do some tweaks. So to start, we're going to look at the search term report together, and then we're going to come back and we're going to make some changes inside of Seller Central to improve our spend here. So once you're in this section, you can just click on Ad Reports and then click on Search Term Report here at the top. And I already have a bunch requested here, but if you don't, you click this button, Request Report, and it takes a few minutes, and then you can download it. So I'm going to download it, save that to my desktop. All right. My go-to spreadsheet of choice these days is Google Sheets. I prefer it over Microsoft Excel, and it doesn't hurt that it's totally free. So that's what we're going to be using today. So you just open up a new Google Sheet. I'm going to go to File, Import, not Open, but Import. I'm going to upload it. I'm going to choose this file from my desktop. All right. It's uploading. You can create a new one if you want. I'm just going to replace the current one. And then it's going to detect automatically how to separate the characters. Because right now, this is just a TXT file. It's not even a CSV or anything. But Google's really smart. They know how to detect the separator as well. So now I have a spreadsheet full of a whole bunch of stuff. And right now, this isn't super usable to us. So I'm going to do a few things to clean it up. If you hover over that, double click, it kind of expands these, which is helpful. And I'm going to move that back a little bit. So I'm looking at the customer search terms. That's actually what the customer put into the Amazon search box, not the keyword that I'm bidding for. So that's super useful. We're going to look at that more in a second. This is the keyword that I was bidding on. So that's good. And I have a whole bunch of other information over here. So to make this a little bit easier for us to kind of look through, I'm going to select the entire first row. I'm going to click on data and then filter. All right. And now you can see these little whatever down looking area. Actually, I'm going to do one other thing real quick. I'm going to select that row again. I'm going to go to view, freeze, one row. All right. So now when I scroll down, I can still see my headers. And I have this little filter thing right here. Okay. So the reason this is nice is this really like helps us manipulate the data accordingly so that we can look for different things that we're looking for. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to get rid of all of the Jungle Sticks stuff because today we're just going to focus on Jungle Snugs. So I'm going to uncheck all of those. Let's get rid of that one. I think that top one wasn't just an example. All right, so now I should have all Jungle Snug stuff here, which is good. All right, so what are some of the things that we're looking for out of here, okay? Overall, I prefer Google Sheets just for like overall, just like monitoring, tongue twister for me right now. I can't talk. Looking at this data and just kind of like help me like get a good feeling for like what's going on, where there's wasteful spend, what kind of customer search terms are good, et cetera, et cetera. So one of the very valuable parts of this whole report is that we get the actual customer search terms. And like I said, this is what people are typing in to the search bar, okay? So as you can see, we talked earlier about match type. These are some phrase match types. All of these, the keyword that I was bidding on was baby towels. And these are some of the things that people typed into the box that my particular ad showed for, okay? So that's super cool. So let's go ahead and let's look at, let's start with just seeing which terms are, let's say, like my least profitable or the ACOS the highest. So again, I click on the little filter thing. I'm just going to sort from Z to A, so that's highest to lowest. And this shows me like on something here, I have 800%. So this is an automatic campaign. The customer searching for hooded baby towel. My cost per click, CPC, is $1.33. We spent $145 on that, which is quite a bit of money for only one sale. So we spent $145 and we made $18 worth of revenue. So that's terrible, right? So these are the types of things I can go through and kind of look overall how things are performing. I could also see, like which one has, let's say, the highest click-through ratio. So, again, I did that. These that have 100%, that's not super useful to me because it was shown one time and clicked one time. So what I can do is I can click on this little down filter and I can say, hey, get rid of the lines that only have 1 or 2 clicks, only show me 3 and up. So I apologize if this seems like pretty simple. Like I imagine some of you guys watching this webinar, you're kind of like Excel wizards and this is like, duh, Greg. And other people are like, oh, wow, I didn't know how to use that. So I apologize if this is a little bit simple. I just want to go over a few of these things. And then we'll get into kind of like the more like the meat of it. So, like this term did really well. 9 impressions and got 5 clicks, 55% click-through ratio. That's super good. That's baby hooded towel phrase match. So I can just kind of like look through here and look at some things. What got, let's see, 389 clicks. That one's really popular. And really a click-through ratio of anything higher than I'd say like a 0.5% or maybe even like 0.4% is actually really good. So a click-through ratio of 2% is really good. That means like it's a very targeted term, and Amazon's going to like you for that. So that one is, let's see here, phrase match for baby hooded towel, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So let me show you something real quick that jumps out at me right away when I look at this. So for our particular product, let me actually see if I can do something here. Try to type in jungle, see if this works. Doesn't look like it totally worked there. Let's try one more time. Jungle. I've never actually done this before. Jungle, maybe then select all. All right. So where I'm getting at with this is something that stands out to me right away. A lot of these customer search terms have jungle in them. Okay. Now, what this tells me, just because this is a live case study, is no general consumers actually know. Well, none of them are going to know about the Jungle Snugs brand, right? This is like all of you guys following along with the case study. These aren't real customers, I would imagine. And let's see, if we look, my hypothesis is probably true because there's been 0 orders placed, even though I have spent total spend. If I were to add that up, I don't know, like 30 or 40 bucks or something. So I've spent like 30 or $40 on clicks just from people watching this case study. They go to Amazon, they search for Jungle Snugs or one of these other terms. And because of that, then they're clicking on it and it's charging us money. Okay. So this is like a great example where a negative keyword would be appropriate. So let me show you how to do that just real quickly, and then we'll go back and look at some other stuff. So once you're inside of campaigns, you can do it on automatic or manual. We'll just start with this automatic one. I can go to negative keywords, and I actually went in here yesterday and did this because I realized, hey, like I don't want to be spending money on all these people who are just watching this case study. I'm supposed to be targeting this stuff for like real customers. So we went ahead and we put a few of these in here. But as you can see, we spent, what did I say, like 20 bucks or whatever on these clicks just from people like following along with the case study. All right, let's clear this and see like what other useful information we can get from this. All right. Some other things that maybe I want to be looking for are which items my ACOS is real high on. I can look at what my spend is really high on. Are those relevant, or am I just getting impressions with very few sales? So this is all beneficial. Something else I could do is say, like, let's take some of these terms that the customers are actually searching for. Because keep in mind, like on like an automatic campaign, we don't even have keywords. Amazon's automatically choosing that. But on some of the other ones, let me try to find another broad match. Looking for a broad match that's not on the automatic. It's on the automatic campaign if it has a little star here, because on automatic campaigns, we're not giving Amazon keywords. They're choosing automatically which terms they're going to show our particular product for. Which reminds me, if you see this is like an ASIN, right? So a customer didn't really search for this ASIN, but what they did do, let's go back and look at mine real quick. They were on, let's actually just go ahead and look at this person's. So let's check out what ASIN this is. What they did do is they were on this particular listing. So this is one of my competitors, and my ad showed up under the sponsored products related to this item. So if we look here, oh, there's my product. So someone was on this page and then they clicked on my ad right here. So that's telling me if there's like an ASIN in the customer search term is that they came from that page. All right. One reason I really like this customer search term report is I usually do something along these lines. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get all those back. Let me see if there's any other ones. That looks good. So I might say, what I'm trying to get out of this is what are my customers searching for and either clicking or actually like buying when they search. So if I said like, okay, I only want to see stuff that people are actually purchasing for, then I could say that I could go over here to like product sales. On all of these are people that actually searched for this term and then bought it. $125 in there. I don't know where that came from. So these are all from here on up. This means someone searched for these particular terms and ended up buying it, right? So now what I could do if I wanted everything above line 1049, I could take all these customer search terms. Remember, this isn't really one. And I could load all of these into a new manual campaign where like I'm a little bit more aggressive on the bids because I know that people who search for these end up purchasing mine. Another way you could think about it, and sometimes that I do, right now that was only like 20 words or something. I could say, well, let's just see what has like a high click-through ratio. All right. Let's get rid of the ones with only have 1 or 2 clicks. And I could say like anything over 1%. I'm going to take all of those terms. And again, I'm going to put those into a manual campaign. Okay. So that's why this customer, what is this thing called anyway? This search term report, I think it's search term report is so valuable is because you can see what people are actually searching for and kind of like their behaviors after they were searching. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. So when I actually like go about making my changes to these campaigns, I actually normally do so inside the campaign manager, inside Seller Essential. But the reason I want to show you the search term report is because, like I said, they don't show you these customer search terms and stuff inside Seller Essential. You have to download the report and look at it. I know a lot of people are confused when they originally get this because if you just open this thing, actually, I don't think you can see it because it's in a different window, but it just looks like it's just a TXT file and it just looks like a whole bunch of junk. So I want to show you guys how to import it into a spreadsheet and kind of like manipulate it accordingly. All right. So that part's done. The insight that we got would have been good customer search terms. So I would have pulled out the things that people were searching for, and I would put those in a manual campaign. We also realized that we're spending a bunch of money on terms that have jungle snugs in them, which, like I said, just means these are people following our case study who are clicking on our ads. And if I took some time to really go through and look at this, I think I could probably get some other good insight from this as well. That's just sometimes that can be a little bit time consuming. So I'm not going to go through and dissect it anymore for today's particular example. All right. So what I am going to do is I'm back inside Seller Central here, and I'm going to look at my campaigns here. So when I first, all right, let's first real quick talk about our date. So right now, I think we launched the Jungle Snugs on like June 4th or 5th or something like that. So I have like it from the beginning of this month up until today. Actually up until 2 days ago. And the reason that I did that is because Amazon is a little bit delayed as far as like their impressions and clicks and stuff goes. And they're very delayed as far as attributing sales to your clicks. So like at like very best case scenario, they'll attribute a sale to a click within like 12 hours, but oftentimes it takes 24, 36, 48 hours. So I have it up until 2 days ago because that tells me that a lot of the sales at least should be attributed to the clicks that I got charged for. Now, if we went back and looked inside Fetcher real quick, we could see that there's also 7-day and 30-day This particular item doesn't have them, but that's a little bit different. We'll just, for the purpose of this, just attribute 1 day PPC sales to our spend. So I have it up until 2 days ago. Something else that we can kind of think about here is when I first launched this listing, it was pretty poor quality. My pictures were really crappy. They were just like some cell phone pictures we took. B, it didn't have very many reviews, so it didn't have that social proof. And not even up until like a week ago did we have verified reviews, which give that extra level of social proof. So I would imagine, and we'll try it. So instead of from June 4th, if I just do this for like a week before the 26th, so we'll do the 19th through the 26th. I didn't pay quite good enough attention, but I think the ACOS went down a little bit, which would tell us that our listing is converting a little bit better. Let's try it one more time. So like 90, 115, and 223 compared to this. Yeah, so before I said 90, 115, and 223. So this one went up a little bit. I think that one stayed about the same, and this one went down a little bit. So that sounds about right. So we'll just keep it on this whole date range right now, just so we have a little bit more data, okay? And let's look at just top level stuff here. So our automatic campaign's doing terrible. It's 252% ACOS. Remember I said I was spending $25 for every $10 in sales, which is terrible, and it's not sustainable. So let's start by just looking at our automatic campaign. Now remember, in an automatic campaign, we don't have any keywords in here, so we can't adjust individual keywords. So what's probably happening here is Amazon showing our ad for a lot of stuff that's not relevant. And if we went back into the search term report, we could actually look at this. We'll just do this real quickly, and then we will get back in there. So for my campaign name, I can only do the automatic one. Just deselect these. Okay. Let's sort by total spend, Z to A. All right. So hooded baby towel, that one's good. Like baby washcloths, this is the one I've spent the third amount on. So I've spent $118 and I've gotten 0 sales from that. So, and that makes sense, right? Because like the main product that we have here is the towel. The washcloth's just kind of like a bonus. So Amazon's showing this for people who are trying to buy washcloths and they're not happy with ours. And that's the reason that we spent $118 on this. We have gotten 67 clicks, but we've had 0 sales. So inside of an automatic campaign, I mean, I guess we could add a negative keyword for like washcloth, but like overall, we don't have, whoops, like I could put this in here, right? A negative keyword for washcloth. And now that's been added, but we don't have like any more control over it than that. We can't go in here and we can't like adjust keywords accordingly. So that's the reason that automatic campaigns are good to get started, because it tells you like what Amazon thinks about your listing. Like we could just look at this real quick. What else do they think is relevant to our listing? Looks like they probably know some of our competitors pretty well. Bamboo baby towel. Just looking at towels for babies, hooded towels. See, they're showing it for like jungle snugs, which I don't really want, but I did add that to a negative keyword. It seems like overall boy, baby bath. Like overall, it seems like they do have a pretty good understanding of what we're selling. But like I said, like, well, I think I just saw hamper before I scrolled up. Like baby hamper, that one wouldn't be really relevant, right? So what I'm getting at is here, I don't have the granularity of a manual campaign and what I do on the automatic campaign. So to stop the bleeding here, I have 2 options. One, I could just turn off the automatic campaign altogether. And of course that would no longer let Amazon show the ads for whatever they deem relevant. The other thing that I can do, and for today's purpose, this is what I am going to do. I'm just going to decrease my bid quite a bit. So instead of right now, I think this was actually a little bit higher when I started. I think it was like $1.50 or $2 or something, because my average CPC right now is $1.44. But I'm going to go ahead and just reduce this to like, let's say 80 cents. And some people are probably saying like, how'd you come up with 80 cents? It's an arbitrary number. I just came up with that because at our current rate, we're spending way too much money. So instead of just pausing it all together, I would prefer if Amazon did continue to give me like a little bit more data about customer search terms and stuff. So I am going to let this continue to run for like a couple more weeks to gather a little bit more data, but I am going to reduce that bid substantially. All right. So I've done that. Now I need to also be thinking, all right, so, hopefully if we checked back in a week or two, this would be substantially less, hopefully close to our 26% break even ACOS, but we have a long way to go right there, don't we? The next campaign that I started was I took a bunch of the high click-through ratios, high CTR words from the automatic campaign. So I set this one up like, I think when I originally started this, all I had was the automatic campaign. And then something like 5 days later, I went ahead and got the search term report and all the words that had a high click-through ratio. So remember, I just went through here and I just like sorted by highest click-through ratio. I took all those words and I put them into this campaign. Okay. So this is a manual campaign and the words were seeded from the search terms that customers had for the automatic campaign. So this one, our ACOS is a little bit better. For every $14 I spend in ads, I do $10 in revenue. I mean, it's relative. When I say better, it's relative, right? It's still, we're still losing quite a bit of money, but a little bit better. And I did a higher bid on these, so I have $1.50. And right now, for that, I to be completely honest, I was kind of in a rush. And I just wanted to get this going a little bit. So I only did an exact match, which I don't recommend, but we'll talk about that more in a second. So let's look at how some of the keywords here are performing. So Amazon's actually made some big changes or some big improvements to the campaign manager. Like if we went back, like it wasn't even that long ago, 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, they didn't have a lot of this stuff. They didn't have the filter. They didn't have a lot of these columns that you can select now. So this is getting a lot better. And what I've done here is right now I'm filtering by spend. So I don't quite know how this one got up to 250, but I think my default bid here was all $1.50. And what I can do here is I can go through and words that I have higher than my target ACOS, which is a lot lower than this, I can decrease the bids. So take the suggested bid here with a grain of salt. I don't really follow this too closely, although from what I understand, it is supposed to be better now. My average cost per click right now is $1.31. From that, my ACOS is way too high. So I'm going to decrease this. Right now I'm spending $1.31. I'm going to go to the lower range of this and I'm going to tune this down to, let's actually say $1.25. So the reason I'm not going a little bit lower on some of these right now is even though we need to get to 26% to break even, since our product is still pretty young, it's only been out, what, like 2 or 3 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm still willing to lose a little bit of money right now on my PPC spend in exchange for more sales, which we know relates to higher rankings for your keywords. And sales are going to result in reviews, and I really need some more reviews right now. So I'm willing to still lose a little bit of money, but I've tuned it down from $1.31 to maximum $1.25. That might help a little bit. So I'd kind of go through and I'd do that. Anything that my ACOS is too high, I would tune down my bids. Now, earlier we had talked about the washcloth example. So like baby washcloths, all right? So remember, inside of the automatic campaign, I didn't have any control on like what we bid for those specific terms. However, the nice thing about the manual campaign is I do. So baby washcloths, that's not very relevant for our particular product, right? Yes, we do include a washcloth. However, most people searching for baby washcloths, probably, we could say the majority of them probably just want washcloths, not necessarily mainly a towel with like a bonus washcloth. So because of that, I could either pause this, which I'm going to choose not to do, or I could just decrease my bid substantially. So instead of bidding $1.50, I'm just going to bid like 25 cents. is, I don't know if this is true or not, but some people in the industry are under the impression that if you pause this totally, that then Amazon's under the impression that that word's not relevant for your particular product and they could stop indexing you for those words. I don't really know if that's true. Sometimes I pause words and I don't think anything about it. And I don't think I've ever seen any adverse effects. However, instead of just pausing altogether, I'm going to say, okay, like for 25 cents instead of $1.30, I would still like let someone click on this particular product. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, both of these should be this, like, since these are exact match, plurals would still show up. So I'm just going to do that the same, like 25 cents. I'm just going to look through here real quick and see if there's anything else that would be like not relevant. So again, we have like some washcloth terms. Actually, here's kind of a cool example. Okay. So this is washcloth baby. And this goes to show like why I'm not going to pause it all together. Is for this particular one, actually there was, I only had 2 clicks. Each click cost me $1.18. So I spent $2.35. And I actually did make a sale from that. So this is like a good way to goes to show that people don't necessarily need to already have in their mind to purchase your particular product. Because like a person searching for a washcloth for a baby, we know they're going to have a baby. They could see our pictures, think it's really cute, et cetera, and end up buying. So for this one, actually for now, I'm just going to leave this one be because my cost is really good. However, I imagine that if I did check back like in a month, that this was probably more of like a fluke sale since it's only one. We just don't have quite enough data yet. So I would go through here and I would adjust those accordingly. Let's we're starting to run out of time here, so let's just look at one more. So it was actually, I think just on Monday of this week. So this has only been running or maybe on Friday last week. This has only been running a few days. Okay. So a few days ago, I did some really in-depth keyword research. So I gathered this search term report like I showed you here. I also used like 10 different tools to find different keywords. You can find more about keyword research on one of the previous webinars where we set up our listing because we go into it in more depth there. We don't have quite enough time to cover that well today. However, what I did is I found close to 1,000 keywords. It's a maximum of 1,000. And this is what I recommend. I recommend finding really high quality keywords and use the same keywords for broad match, phrase match, and exact match. And the reason for that is different words perform better with different match types. Okay. So normally, like for my jungle sticks, if we went and looked at them right now, that's all I have. I found a list of keywords and I split them up for broad match, phrase match, and exact match. Now, the reason that I actually have 9 different ad groups here is I decided to take this one step further, and I didn't bid on any terms like with girl or girl in it for my blue towel. Okay. Any keywords with boy in it, I didn't bid on them for my pink towel. Okay. I'm under the impression, and it's probably correct, that people searching for like boy baby towels would be most likely to purchase the white or the blue, not necessarily the pink. So that's how I segregated this particular group. Let's just look. This only has a few, like, I think I actually set this up on Friday. So this is like 5 days or something. So it's not very much data. However, we can look at it real quick. Let's look at the keywords. It's kind of, yeah. So the top one, actually, someone was searching, let's see, this phrase match. So they searched something for baby girl, maybe gift for baby girl, or towel for baby girl, or something else. I don't know. There was probably another word in front of that. But yeah, this one did well. It's had 8 clicks, ACOS 37%, which is pretty good. Organic baby, I ended up getting a sale at a good ACOS there. So, some of these might be performing well with phrase match. Other ones, especially like really short words, probably perform best on broad match. And then exact match, this is what Amazon usually prefers to show if there's someone bidding for the exact match thing. So these oftentimes will get like a lot of impressions. However, keep in mind, this is only if they're searching for like that exact thing. So you can get like very targeted with these particular words. So this doesn't have quite enough data in it to go through and try to optimize this too much further, just because it's only been running for like 5 days or something. So I'm going to let this run like this. It's only at 82 clicks total. So I'm just going to let this run for another week or so before I try to go back in here and optimize it any further. So hopefully that starts to make more sense to you guys. I know PPC can be like challenging for a lot of people, and I've tried to like show you methods here, or like explain them in a way that's should be like relatively easy for a lot of you to understand. We don't need, especially like if we're just starting out, we don't need any complex software. We don't even need to like make the changes inside of a spreadsheet. We can do it right here inside Seller Central. Seller Central has gotten a lot better. So that's why this is my preferred just kind of way of doing it. So some may argue like this isn't like real scientific, how I just like decrease my bids like a little by little. However, it's what's worked pretty well for me. So that's, I'm just going to recommend for you guys what has worked well for me. So let me go back in here. I think we have a few more slides for you guys. And then if we have time, I'm going to answer like 1 or 2 questions for you guys. So this is just a quick recap of kind of like what we've been talking about today. With optimizing our campaigns, we want to add negative keywords where relevant. So for us in particular, that was removing any search terms that have like jungle in them. Because like I said, people in the case study are searching for like jungle snugs, then it's probably by accident, but they click on our sponsored ads instead of our normal product, and we're paying money for that. Another like more real world example for a lot of you people would probably be something like, let's pretend I'm selling this glass in my hand and people are searching for eyeglasses. Well, someone searching for an eyeglass isn't going to want like a pint glass. So that would be something you could put like I as a negative keyword. When I say that, I'm talking about like EYE, but yeah, and it's just going to be different for everyone depending on what type of product you're selling, but that should give you like a good idea. So we want to cut wasted spend. We can pause our keywords, or actually my preferred method, like I said, is actually just to decrease this, the bid on them quite a bit. Add in negative keywords, and then we want to adjust bids accordingly to try to hit like our break even COS or better. Okay. Anything that's doing well, we want to try to ramp it up. So that might mean that we want to take keywords and put them into phrase match or exact match campaigns, because we know Amazon kind of prefers those. If our ACOS is really good, we might want to increase our bid to hopefully get more impressions. We also went over the search term report together. Hopefully you guys now have a good idea of where to download that from, how to manipulate the data, what type of information you can look for in the search term report. I was tempted to like go into that a little bit deeper. However, like depending on everyone's skill level, some of that can get like a little bit confusing. So I would just encourage you to kind of like, once you've set it up that way, you can play around with it yourself a little bit more. So next week, next week we're going to take the week off. It's 4th of July holiday in the States. I'm sure a lot of you guys are traveling if you're tuning in from the States. So next week we're going to take off, and the next session is going to be 2 weeks from today on July 12th at the same time. If you are watching a replay of this, you can sign up at junglescout.com/million. And during that session, I'm actually pretty excited about this, and I think you guys are going to like it a lot, is how to set up these AMS ads. That's Amazon Marketing Services. The ads are set up and managed in a different section. We'll go over all that in 2 weeks' time. But if you search for like baby hooded towel or a lot of other search terms, you might have seen our Jungle Snugs AMS ads at the top. They're like these banner ads. You can also place them below the buy box on detail pages. So I'll go over that and teach you guys how to do that. If you didn't already, I said this at the beginning, I'm going to say it again because I would love it if you would do so. If you could hit the subscribe button below to the bottom left, or the thumbs up, or both, I would be super grateful of that and really appreciate it a lot. And it looks like we have about a couple more minutes here. So I am going to go ahead and take a couple questions. So, all right. Let me, I'm by myself today, so I'm going to pull up the chat box and we will look at a few of these questions. So, all right. What is a negative keyword and how does it work when you put a keyword in there? So there's two types of negative keywords. One is the phrase match and the other is the exact match. So when you put a keyword into the negative keywords, depending on which of those match types you choose, Amazon will not show any of the ads in that campaign for that keyword. So I put in there jungle and I did phrase match. So any word with any search term with jungle in it, Amazon's not going to show any of my ads in that campaign for that because I have jungle in there as a phrase match. If you want something more specific, you could do exact match, but then remember, Amazon's only going to not show that for that exact search term. Someone's stoked about AMS, sure thing. Let me see what other questions we have in here. A few things about AMS. So guys, I'm going to go over all that in 2 weeks from now. We'll talk about in depth how to get set up and everything else. That should be super cool. Yes, the video is available for replay. You can find it on our YouTube channel. Is it possible I don't have a default bid setting for my auto campaign? No, that's not possible. You're probably just looking in the wrong spot. So instead of, I think you're clicking into your ad group and you need to be on top level, which is once you click on a campaign. So if I click on the Jungle Snugs automatic campaign, then on that first page there, before I dive into an ad group, that's where I can adjust my default bid. Let me see what other questions we have here. Here's a really good question, actually. Why don't some of my keywords get impressions? So let me do a screen share real quick. This is going to take a couple minutes to explain, so I'm going to show this to you. But you should be able to see my screen now. So let's look at one of my campaigns. Let's just do this one. We can click this one. Sure, why not? Let's look at keywords. And when I look at impressions, some of these have a ton of impressions, right? So this top one, 7,400 impressions, 2,600, et cetera, et cetera. Once I get below this, let me actually sort. We can either add a filter. We could do add an, so impressions equals 0, and it'll show us those. So these are all my keywords that I haven't got any impressions for. Now, this either means that Amazon does not believe that this keyword is relevant for my particular product, which may mean I'm not being indexed for those keywords, or it just means that your ad campaign hasn't been running long enough for anyone to search for woven wrap toddler, this phrase match. So there could be a word before or after that, or there could be plurals in it. So let's look at a different one real quick. Let's just look at a campaign that has more, has been running for longer. So we'll do this one. Impressions equals 0. All right. So this one's a little bit better. So all of these have had 0 impressions. So remember, this either means that Amazon thinks my listing is not relevant for these, or that no one has searched for them. So again, like I'm pretty sure that Amazon thinks this is relevant, and we can actually check. Here's a good way to check. Real quick, let's look at Jungle Snugs. We need to grab our ASIN. So we're going to grab our ASIN. We're going to search in all departments for our ASIN plus the keyword. That's how we can check if we're indexed for this. So hooded towel baby. I'm going to search. All right. And I am indexed for this keyword. So Amazon, I'm at least indexed for it. Another level above that could be there is a scenario where you could be indexed for a keyword, but Amazon still doesn't think it's relevant. But I'm pretty sure Amazon thinks this particular one's relevant. I just don't think anyone has searched for this where this campaign's the most relevant for me. Because remember, I probably have this term in some of my other campaigns as well. Now, if I try to search for this in like frog, you see it says there's 0 results for my ASIN and frog. That means Amazon does not index me for frog, but they do for towel. No, I'm showing up there. Actually, I noticed last week I wasn't indexed for hood, but now I am. So that's good. So yeah, there could be 2 issues there. One, you could not be indexed for it. If you are indexed for it and you think that it's been running long enough that there should be some impressions, then there could be like a little bit more of a serious problem. You could be like in the wrong category. So for example, I'm in baby bath and hooded towels. So that gives Amazon a really good idea of what kind of product I have. If I was under something strange, a different category, then that could be part of the reason that Amazon's not giving me impressions, because they think even though I'm indexed for a keyword that it's not relevant. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Let's see. I have time for one more and then we're going to wrap it up. So sorry, just reading through a few questions here. Yeah, I think I just read over kind of one of I'm just sorry, I'm scanning through these kind of quickly. I think we covered like a lot of it. One thing that I do want to say is I don't want you guys to get discouraged if you don't have a whole lot of PPC sales, especially if it hasn't been running very long. Okay. So remember I said earlier that Amazon, it takes like on average probably 24 to 48 hours for them to attribute sales to your PPC campaign. So one common mistake that I see like beginners make is they will set up a PPC campaign. They have like $100 a day budget. They run that. They spend $100 on the first day and they see they got 0 sales. They freak out and they pause it because they're like, crap, I just wasted $100. I didn't get any sales from it. That's not necessarily true. What's more likely is you did get sales, but they're not going to show up for like a day or 2 more days. Okay. So if you guys are just setting these up, I know it's a little bit frightening at the beginning. Feel free to do like a lower daily budget. But you really have to run these for some time before you can get really actionable data from them. So yeah, like even like with automatic campaigns, like I recommend everyone should just like set those up and just let it run for like at least a week, at least like the first week before you even like mess with it at all. So we're like, you know, like I said, I think the product was launched like 20, maybe 25 days ago. So we're just getting to the point now where we're starting to have some of this more actionable information that we can make adjustments on and that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit frustrating because like a little bit of a slow game. But those would just be my tips for you on that. So yeah, with that being said, I think we covered most of it here. If you have any other questions, there'll be a recap up on the blog either tomorrow or maybe Monday or over the weekend. Feel free to post your questions in the comments of the blog or the YouTube comments, and we'll do our best to try to answer all those. If you haven't already, remember, subscribe and thumbs up. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks, and we will talk about AMS ads. So I'll see you then. Take care.